Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. This meeting is called to order, and I kindly ask our recording secretary, the City Administrator, Ms. Dawkins, to take the roll call.
Alderman Bruno?
Here.
Burkhart?
Here.
Clements?
Here.
Ruby? Here. Caven?
Here.
Kilberg?
Here.
Maladra? Here. Marks?
Here.
McGowan?
Here.
Swanson?
Here.
Mayor, all present and accounted for.
We are all present and accounted for. I'd like to begin just with a couple comments, if I may. First off, I want to thank all of you who are here live and everyone tuning in via Zoom. For those tuning in at home, watching, I want to thank the City Council for your leadership, for your patience, for your tolerance, for your understanding, and for your respect throughout what has been nearly 2 months of not meeting. And of course, I want to thank the staff as well. Their leadership throughout the city has been exemplary. We have, I think, done well. We have addressed all challenges and issues that we weren't quite prepared for, but we met the challenge, and I am grateful for Ms. Dawkins' leadership and the entire team. So it's good to see you guys again, and let's have a good meeting.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Our first order of business, folks, is the Pledge of Allegiance. I would kindly ask Alderman Caven to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and
With
justice
liberty
for
and
all.
justice for all.
Thank you, Alderman. Any new business from any member of the council? Anyone on Zoom, any new business you'd like to bring up? Ms. Dawkins, Alderman Clements, yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Just actually kind of along the lines of your gratitude you just expressed, I'd like to do the same with the city staff.
Microphone, please. Thank
As
you.
well as to yourself, Mayor, I realize that the last 2 months have been difficult for all of us out there, and everything in the city has been running very well, and so thank you. I know you get hit on all sides in this kind of environment, and just for the record, you've always been available for phone call discussions and answering any questions that have come up, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. City Administrator, are there any comments online that we should address?
There are no comments, and there is no public waiting to comment.
Very well. Item number 4, folks, public hearings, special items and presentations. 4A is a public hearing on the proposed resolution number 2020-34, authorizing submittal to the state of Illinois for a Rebuild Illinois program grant application. I would like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Alderman Clements
Bruno.
makes the motion. Alderman Maladra makes the second. The public hearing is open.
Do we need to vote on that?
All in favor of opening the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
I think we
Aye.
need, Mayor.
Do we need a roll call?
I think we need a roll call.
We do need
just
a roll
because
call.
we have people
Forgive me,
virtually.
folks. State law now requires a roll call for all actions taken this evening. My apologies. So a roll call to open the public hearing. Ms. Recording Secretary, please take the roll.
Bruno?
Bruno, aye.
Burkhart?
Burkhart, aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby? Aye. Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra? Aye. Marks?
Aye.
McGowan? McGowan? Are you muted? McGowan, unmute and say. Okay. Swanson?
Aye.
All right, so that's 9-0, right? We'll count that as an abstention, or? Okay.
We will. The public hearing is open. We turn the floor over to our Economic Development Director, Kathleen Timochenko.
Hi, good evening. So we're here to talk about our proposed Rebuild Illinois infrastructure grant application. So we're working, we've prepared to submit an application for 3 different programs of the Rebuild Illinois, the public infrastructure, economic development, and shovel ready. This Rebuild Illinois program has $79.5 million in total funds available for projects throughout the state. Our applications can be accessed on the city's website. We created a new web page for transparency, and the applications are posted there. So as the project that we're proposing for funding is construction of a new electric substation. This and the distribution to service the Southeast Master Plan area, the SEMP area. This project budget for this construction is about $13 million, and our request for a grant is $5 million. The additional funds for the remainder of the project will come from proposed city bond issuance and private equity funds. So the entire SEMP project is estimated at over 22.4 million, and this part of the project is a little bit over 13. We're asking for the maximum grant amount available. So the substation is required to increase electric power in the SEMP, and the current electric power capacity in the area is insufficient to support development. And the SEMP area is larger than just the industrial park we've been talking about. It's over 500 acres, and it's defined within the city's comprehensive plan and also the Southeast Master Plan, comp plan from 2003, Southeast Master Plan from 2012. So the substation would be constructed on 1 acre of property that would be within the new industrial park, and that will be an acre of property that will be dedicated to the city from the property owner, from the industrial property owner there. So the city's main purpose in undertaking the SEMP studies was to prepare the area for the industrial development and to prepare the properties east of the planning area adjacent to the Kane DuPage property county line. The city intends to annex 211 acres at that current southeast border for the proposed new industrial park. And the industrial park will bring forward 2.62 million square feet of industrial space for the city. Development of this is not possible without the substation and electric capacity improvements. Sorry this is sideways, but this shows you the project boundaries of the Southeast Master Plan area, which is bounded by Route 38 on the north, the county line on the east, Fabian on the south, and Kirk Road on the west. So this is the project budget for the electric substation and electric improvements that we're looking to fund through the grant. And so these are the different line items of work that need to be done to bring forward that development. This was worked on. Electric Division has been extremely involved in all of this grant application and helping to refine some of the numbers. The numbers have been further refined from earlier estimates, so we've been working to make sure that our grant application was extremely on target with our older estimates, refreshing those. So that's the cost there. It's over 13 million. We've got the grant requests of 5 million, and we've got the proposed geo bond and private equity for the 8 million remaining funds. So as part of the grant application, we need to talk at this public hearing about our community development and housing needs and how it connects to this project and this grant application. So our strategic plan has specific goals to these community development and housing needs, and we need to work to maintain an economically healthy population through the support of new housing opportunities and changes that will allow for greater diversity of housing, develop a resilient local economy through the development of new commercial and industrial opportunities and encourage tourism by enhancing the city's image and better accommodating the needs of visitors. The development of new industrial tax space and new jobs will help to support our community development and housing goals. So some of the project impacts that we highlighted in the grant application include the construction of the substation and distribution will spur industrial development and business retention within the city, and it will increase the city's tax base, create new jobs, and increase the need for services and housing for businesses and workers. The planned 211-acre industrial park is estimated to create over 1,100 jobs and 1,200 permanent jobs. The project will meet the city's community development and housing needs by bringing forward new industrial opportunities, adding to the tax base, and the grant assistant activities will not result in displacements of people or businesses. Be glad to take any questions.
I'll check with the city administrator first to see if there's any questions from the public. She's having trouble with her video. We're just confirming, folks, to see if anyone chimed in on our public line. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
There are no public comments related to the public hearing.
Great. No public comments related to this public hearing, so we will defer to members at the dais and/or joining us via Zoom. Any comments for our Economic Development Director? Alderman Ruby.
Thank you. Kathleen, can you please elaborate on, you mentioned the need for diversity of housing and how this could positively impact that?
Well, with bringing in new employees and new workers to the area, you will have more need for different types of housing for new employees. So that will help create the demand in the community, which will bring forward developer interest and investor interest. So when you're bringing jobs, housing is needed. So that'll help us meet some of our needs to diversify the housing stock, because you'll have more of a demand, a built-in demand for those housing opportunities.
Okay. I guess my next question is going to get off topic, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Anyone else via Zoom or at the dais? Excuse me? Oh, Alderman Bruno, yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. So now I think we always expected to have this substation as part of this development, but was there a period that we thought we might be able to get by without it? Do I remember hearing that conversation?
No, I don't believe so. My understanding was that there, at one point, probably about 5 years ago, the city was looking to make this investment kind of in a build it, they will come type of fashion. And then the city later determined that that wouldn't be done, that we really wanted to go out and try to secure a developer and make sure that we were building in sync with new development and not going out ahead of time. So I think that that decision may be what you're thinking about in going forward and then kind of pulling back in more of a reserved approach.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. I enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the screen. Anyone else comments who are participating remotely for our Economic Development Director? Anyone at the dais? I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Good Lord. Motion by, I believe, was Bruno, seconded by Marks. A roll call vote would be necessary to close the public meeting, ladies and gentlemen.
Burkhart,
Burkhart, aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
McGowan? No, you're still muted. Try *6, try,
She did say aye.
put a thumbs up. Can you put a thumbs up for us? Thumbs up, thumbs down? You can't hear me? Okay, McGowan did a thumbs up, aye. Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Double check, that was a thumbs up and not something else
Closing the
that we need
public
to-
hearing.
The public hearing is closed, ladies and gentlemen. We move on to item 4B as in boy. It's a presentation on the fiscal impact of COVID-19. We have with us live our city administrator, Ms. Dawkins, and we have joining us remotely our finance manager.
Coming in.
Oh, she is here. Good. Finance manager Rita Cruz is also joining us. So we'll give these ladies just a moment to set up.
Yep. So I know that Rita is going to give you a great summary on her presentation, introduction. But essentially what we're doing tonight is just going over the fiscal impacts of COVID-19 has had on not only last year's budget, but the current budget. Again, she'll emphasize this, but these are very preliminary at best. Many of the city's revenues are delayed, so we're using the best information we have today to predict what we think will be tomorrow. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Rita.
Good evening, Mayor.
Evening.
Mayor, Council, remote and in person. I'm here tonight to discuss the financial impacts of COVID-19. I will primarily focus on the general fund, fiscal year ending 2020 estimates, and 2021 projections. The presentation tonight is staff's preliminary estimates of the current situation as of tonight. Staff is receiving new information about grants, revenue projections, et cetera, at the federal and state and local levels on a daily basis. Before I discuss some details, the city is projecting an approximate $3 million revenue shortfall in the general fund for the fiscal year 2021. To cover a portion of that revenue loss, the city will be using fund balance, which has been built up throughout the years. Okay. Before we need to talk about the past before we talk about the future. The general fund fiscal year 2020 revenues. Should I keep going? Okay. Are estimated to come in at 2.8% under budget, while expenditures are estimated to be 7.5% under budget. The net difference of $527,385, which brings the general fund balance to 42.5% compared to last year's 40.18%. I will go over in detail the expense variance in the next slide, and we'll discuss revenues at a later minute. In fiscal year 2020, the city saw many favorable variances, which created the 7.5% decrease in the general fund expenditures. The winter of 2019 was mild and had low snowfall, which saved the city $179,000 in salt and approximately $50,000 in staff time. The transfer to the general capital projects fund was reduced by $595,000. This transfer occurs when the actual expenditures from the fund occur. The transfers, the health insurance premium paid also decreased by $101,000. The difference is related to the coverage assumed during the budget compared to what the employees select at time of hire, during open enrollment, or because of a qualifying event. Overnight duty for the fire department had a positive variance of $109,000 due to newer POC firefighters working more shifts than planned in fiscal year 2020, and lower utilization of part-time personnel to cover the full-time that were off. General insurance decreased by $98,000 for fiscal year 2020. Actual insurance claims, and consistent with previous years, reflected negotiated changes in insurance rates and the city's experience with settling claims. Savings are not only reflected claims experience, but staff's ongoing effort to mitigate the risk and minimize exposure. The next topic of discussion is the general fund revenues. I'll be discussing both fiscal year 20 and 21 revenues for the top four revenues, which are approximately 73.4% of the total revenues in the general fund. The graph depicts The top revenue for the general fund, which is property taxes at 25.9%. Property taxes are the most stable revenue source for the city. On April 17th, the King County Treasurer announced that penalties for the first installment will be assessed after July 1st, 2020, a month after the first installment due date. The installment due dates were not modified due to COVID. If a taxpayer has their taxes in escrow, the payments were made to the county before that due date. Per the chart, the variance between the collection rate for the current tax levy of 40% compared to the fiscal year 19 levy of 50% may account for those non-payments due to COVID. This indicates there will be a delay in cash received for property taxes. Now on to the second largest revenue stream in the general fund, state shared sales tax. This tax is remitted to the city on a 3-month delay. Therefore, the projections on the next slide have 1 month of estimate. Staff believes that the April collections, which will be remitted in May, will be the remitted in July, will be the lowest month of sales tax and non-home rule sales tax for the year. The state also is allowing, as you can see on the chart, to make quarterly payments, which are delaying the city's cash flow. For the fiscal year 2020, the estimated actual is $4,700,350, a difference of $396,880, or 7.78%. For fiscal year 21, staff has taken a conservative approach in estimating how quickly revenues return back to normal. The city is projecting to lose $1,054,100, or 20.67% of its total sales tax revenue in the fiscal year 2021. Next, I wanted to show a slide for some comparison data to show the decrease in revenue by category for January through March of 2019 and 2020. Mind you, this is on a calendar year, not a fiscal year. When reviewing these reports, the categories that show 0, which on the screen you would see is general merchandise and auto and filling, have 4 less taxpayers, which are not listed separately. But those dollars are included in the total of the bottom. So if you do foot that, it does not actually foot to the correct amount in the bottom, because those totals are in the bottom. I understand this is a lot in this slide to take in. The slide deck will be posted to the city's website tomorrow. Excluding manufacturing, which I took out because it's one of the smaller revenue lines, the largest decrease is the apparel category at 39%, only second to the drinking and eating places at 23%. One similar revenue source is the non-home rule sales tax. The only difference between the state sales tax and the non-home rule sales tax is the base in which it is calculated. Non-home rule sales tax applies to the sales which are not qualified, quote, qualified food and medical appliances, as taken from the state statute. Therefore, the dollar and percentages are not the same compared to the prior slides. For the fiscal year on 2020, the estimated actual is $2,041,130, a difference of $118,187, or 5.5%. For the fiscal year 21, again, we've taken a very conservative approach, and the city is projected to lose $318,190, or 14.46% of its total sales tax revenue in the fiscal year 21 compared to budget. Like a few slides earlier, I wanted to also show the categories for the non-home rule sales tax as well. The non-home rule sales tax, this chart shows that the apparel is 39%, has a 39% decrease, and drinking and food places has a 24% decrease, which is specifically due to the governor's executive order. The share of income tax, the state share of income tax is 11% of the fiscal year 2021 budget. The federal government extended the due date of individual tax returns to July 15th, and shortly thereafter, the state followed suit because the federal tax returns are based upon the state returns are based upon the federal tax returns. The city realizes there will be a delay due to this extension. The Illinois Municipal League released an updated revenue projection for the upcoming fiscal year, which actually just came out last week, so we had some very good timing. For the fiscal year 2021, the city is projected to see a 4.93% decrease compared to the budget. Noted in the state's budget bill, the 2008 budget cut to LGDF has been eliminated, which revenues will increase slightly, but not enough to cover the negative impact of the wage loss. Let's move away from revenues and talk about the other side of the equation, expenses. When reviewing the current budget, staff separated out expenses into two categories, operations and capital. The philosophy is to reduce capital and infrastructure equipment and infrastructure capital before human capital. On the operations end, city staff did not hire any summer, seasonal, or intern positions. Those positions were from the street and fleet divisions, saving approximately $15,000. Staff will delay hiring the planner and the HR generalist open positions in hopes to find a larger talent pool. Larger organizations may reduce their staff levels due to budget cuts. Due to COVID-19, the Law Enforcement Academy is closed, and therefore there is a backlog of students. Therefore, the city can delay hiring the police officer. Staff has also identified a minimum of $100,000 in other general operating expenses. From the capital side, the transfer to the capital equipment fund has been completely eliminated. There is enough fund balance to cover the lease payments to enterprise and to obtain some new vehicles and equipment, and computers. The transfer to the general capital projects fund will be reduced from $767,300 to $523,500. This reduction leaves funding for specific studies and critical facility needs as they arise during the year. Moving away from the city's financial impact of COVID-19 to the residents and businesses. The city understands COVID-19 has affected everyone in the city, both residents and businesses alike. However, as a non-home rule community, there are statutory limitations on the type of relief the city may offer. From the beginning of this event, the city suspended penalizing utility accounts for late payments. The city also followed the ICC, or the Illinois Commerce Commission's moratorium on shutoffs for non-payment on utility accounts. To provide greater assistance, staff is presenting an ordinance later tonight to waive all liquor and business licenses for the current year period, which is May 1st, 2020 to April 30th, 2021. In April, the mayor issued Executive Order 2020-02 that extended the current license and payment of those fees until July 1st, 2020. This waiver has been brought forth today, does not include any new licenses effective May 1st, 2020 or later. Any renewal fees already paid will be refunded. It is estimated that the total effect of the general fund revenue will be $200,000. To assist all members of the community, staff is proposing a second ordinance to suspend the 5% water municipal utility tax on all water bills from July 1st and through December 14th, 2020. For an average residential household, using 790 cubic feet of water per month will save approximately $15 throughout the 6-month period. It is estimated that the total reduction of the general fund revenue will be $150,000. It should also be noted that the municipal utility tax is revenue to the general fund and has no impact on the water fund. At this point, if there's any questions, please let me know.
So, and if I just may say, and I'm not sure why the screen went blank, but Pete will be all over that. Questions on general finances, I think, are appropriate at this juncture. Questions on the two proposed ordinances we would cover later in the agenda. So,
Questions or comments for the finance manager from the dais? Alderman Swanson.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm interested to know how you came up with the sales tax estimate that we're going to be 1 million lower. Because it looked like the chart you had was comparing first quarter 19 to first quarter 20.
Yes.
However, in 20, January still was relatively normal. And February was relatively normal. I think a better estimate would be the second quarter, which would be April, May, and June, which I would think would be much more deteriorated from the previous level. And if so, would that change your estimates? Because I think one of the sales tax numbers you had was decreasing 14% for the year. And that doesn't seem like a huge decrease given what we've endured. So it's just,
I didn't know. I mean, I've got the sheet pulled up, so if you
Okay,
want to.
that's fine.
So what we were showing was a comparison of what we know to date.
Sure.
Those are the numbers we actually know. That is not what we use to estimate for the full year.
okay,
So we've gone through and estimated, it looks like, for sales tax, a 75% reduction for the month of April, for the month of May, 50% for June, 40% for July, 40% for August, 20% for September, 10% for October, 10%, and so on and so forth. So it's really a full, our estimate is based on a full fiscal year, but what we were showing on the screen was to give you an apples-to-apples comparison because those are the numbers we know today.
okay. So the $1 million sales tax number, the decrease, I think we're going from 5.2 to 4.2, is based on the 40% and the 20%
Correct.
that you ratably described.
Yeah, I just went through it quickly because again, the estimate is an estimate, and so we were just looking at what we think based upon the governor's phasing plan and what gets to reopen and when, and recognizing that maybe not everything comes back at the same time or at the same level.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from the dais? Any of our friends via Zoom? Alderman Burghardt.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the presentation, Rita. I see that we obviously did not hire the seasonal interns and are putting off hiring, it looks like 3 positions. Has there been any talk of furloughs for city employees? I mean, that is getting pretty common in the corporate world, and a number of governmental entities are having employees take a week or 2 furlough. Is that something we would consider at the city level?
So currently, we have a voluntary furlough program that we've had in place since the economic downfall of 2008, 2009. At this point, we don't see a need for mandatory furloughs. At this point, our cash flow is pretty good. You may recall earlier this year and when we were doing the budget, we have specifically built our reserves back up. In 2008, we had about, I think it was 26 days operating expense in the general fund reserve. We are now up to about 150 days in the general fund reserve. So certainly that's always a consideration, but to do a mandatory furlough at this point, it kind of doesn't make sense. I don't think it's fair to your human capital, but it's also, it would only apply to those non-union employees because you would have to bargain that with union employees. So until, you know, we're constantly watching. So as the cash flow and if revenues are far worse than what we are projecting now, certainly it's a moving, living document, and anything can go, anything can happen.
Thank you. What's the voluntary furlough that program? Is that something if someone wants to take a week of unpaid or a couple of weeks of unpaid leave, they can do that?
Yes, absolutely. We have a limit on how many consecutive days you can take, but if you want to take leave without pay because you just, you say, hey, I want a break, and so we do offer that. You know,
Okay,
it used to
thank you
be
very much.
back from 2008 to about 2012, I would say it was a pretty popular program. Lately, we don't have as many takers because it does cause impacts to other things like your overtime, your retirement, and all of that, but it's still out there as an option.
Is that an option for union employees or only
Yes,
non-union?
it's an option for anybody.
Okay. All right, thank you. That takes care of me.
Thank you, Alderman. Anyone else via Zoom? Before I recognize Alderman Swanson for a second, oh, forgive me. You were signaling me to let me know? Okay, Alderman Caven. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Well, it's difficult. You have multiple screens to look at now. So at this point in time, other than what was identified in the presentation, and thank you very much for that, at this point right now, we don't think that we're going to need to make any additional cuts to anything. Not that that won't be revisited, as you said, a living, breathing document as the year continues to go and we get more actuals in. But for right now, other than what was identified, we're gonna wait and see how things go for the next couple of months till we get some actuals and see if and when we may need to do something more drastic.
Yeah, so what we've done right now is, as Rita identified, we've made significant cuts. And I would say cuts, but they're cuts that can be reinstituted if the revenue is realized. But significant cuts to all of the capital funds. For the operating funds, which are wages, contractual items, supplies, what we have asked is what I call mindful spending. So before anybody actually makes a purchase, they need to stop, they need to think, they need to determine, is this something we absolutely must have at this point, or is this something that can wait? And so we're hoping to obviously realize some savings by what I call mindful spending,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Sure.
Just a quick clarification. With respect to the capital fund, the deferral, if you will, totals 5 million?
For all funds, it totals $5.7 million.
5.7 for all funds, okay.
For the general fund, the transfer was, I'm sorry, 767,000 is not being transferred, that was anticipated, and another, give me 1 second,
So that comes to 6.4.
and what was, with the capital was another 800 we were anticipating?
Yeah, we dropped, well, no, it's 1, that was 20. I'm looking at the wrong year.
But we did, again, on the capital equipment, we had envisioned a transfer, but we are not making that transfer because there's still a fund balance within that account to carry it, sustain it at least for a year.
So in aggregate, if I'm correct, the total amount of monies, either deferred or those monies that we're reinvesting in the community through waiver later to consider, liquor fees, et cetera, commuter parking, et cetera, total somewhere in the neighborhood of 7.2 million. 5.7 capital, 767 general, and another 800 via
The
capital.
767, all that is
Is
within that
part of
five.
it. Got it, so it's
That 5.7 is total all
5.7.
funds.
Got it.
For capital.
I was double dipping.
And
My
I would be remiss if I didn't say, so that, you know, full disclosure, 1.2 million of that was for a new fire engine.
Right.
So you take that out, you're looking at,
So we're going to have a Prius instead of a fire engine. Is that what
Correct.
Okay. Alderman Swanson, forgive me.
Thank you. My question was similar to what you were just doing, the back of the envelope numbers. We talked a little bit about reducing reserves and number of days. I didn't hear any dollars. Just back of the envelope, it looks like we're reducing reserves $1 million to $1.5 million. Would that be an accurate?
that's a good question. I would
Estimate?
say, and I'll see if you can,
You have the spreadsheet.
I have the spreadsheet, hold
I do
on.
not.
That's on the same one, right?
Yes.
Oh. Is that under, I don't know where that is on the spreadsheet.
Oh, you may not, you probably have to
Oh,
calculate it.
10 years, hold on. Give, one
Your
momento.
presentation indicated 3.2, which we'd cover in fund balance.
Yes, that's, yes.
2020, we're looking at 2 million is the net change in the fund balance.
Okay.
So, because we're estimating about 3.2 million is lost in the general fund.
Okay.
So,
And-
but using fund balance, it's about 2 million.
And number of days we're reducing, I'm assuming from 42 to 30?
So we would be at 29%.
Okay,
We strive to be at 25%, which is the 90-day mark.
okay,
So that would take us to 29.88%.
okay.
Again, assuming that's assuming all operations that spend everything that's in the budget and the revenues come in and again, I think there'll be differences in both of those.
Sure, okay. And then the only other piece to keep observing then would be the revenue pieces, because obviously, this is tight as it is. So if top line we reduce, then Plan B is to look at other
Absolutely.
items. So, okay, thank you.
And we
There's
do talk,
contingency plans and contingency plans for the contingency plans.
and we do talk about that on a weekly basis. Any large revenues that come in, we have a discussion again of where they're at compared to actual budget, where they plan on going.
Great. Alderman Kilberg,
Do we have any kind of an idea as it relates to expenditures related to COVID-19 yet, as the impact to the city and what we might be able to approach the county in regard to?
Do you want to address that, or do you want me?
I'll be happy to defer to the city administrator with respect to the anticipated total amount, and then I'd like to provide an update regarding when we are making a presentation to the county with respect to CARES funding.
Why don't you make the presentation while I look up the
Got it.
amount?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been requested by the Metro West Council of Government to submit information, finances, as it relates to the impact of COVID-19. We are interpreting that request to correspond with the Treasury Department's recent release of information as it relates to expenditures and personnel costs of both fire and police. We are making a presentation to the county board on Thursday, the 24th, I believe it is, of June, with myself, Mayor Irvin of Aurora, Mayor Captain of Elgin, and representing the 34 mayors of the Metro West Council of Government to specifically request that communities like ours, up and down and throughout Kane County, receive a portion of the formula to be determined, a portion of the nearly $90+ million the county has been granted via the federal government. We anticipate those discussions to be positive. They have been to date, but we are putting all that information together. And I can assure you that that presentation will be well covered by the media. And prior to that presentation, all of you will receive a copy of the remarks I'm going to deliver, as well as all the data to back up those remarks.
So the data that we supplied to Metro West, it should be noticed that the Department of Treasury updated their guidelines to where all public safety wages are presumed COVID-related, because it is presumed that every call a first responder goes on can be exposed to COVID-19, so therefore all of their wages and benefits are considered COVID-related. And so the total amount with that and supplies and things that we have purchased over the last few months is roughly $2.4 million. Which is, there you have it, there's your fund balance that we're dipping into. But yeah, again, and I think the mayor said it eloquently, but you know, we know that DuPage County has offered their municipalities to do it per capita and to get their expenses. So all we're asking is that the state is taking care of those municipalities that are not part of a county that got direct funding, and the state is expecting that those counties that got direct funding for the county to assist. So that's what we're asking. We're either asking on a per capita or a reimbursable. No matter how or what amount we get, we still have to justify it. We still have to audit it. We still have to provide all of the documentation. It's not just, here's a windfall, go have fun.
And it's worth amplifying what Stephanie said. If in fact we are successful and we receive a grant from the county, this council would have to vote on and agree to an intergovernmental agreement with respect to receiving those funds and how we expend those funds. So at the conclusion of that expenditure time period, we would be subjected to that audit so that we can say to everyone that we invested these monies granted by the county in such a way that was consistent with the guidelines issued by the Treasury and issued by other federal agencies. Imagine being the, just for what it's worth, Alderman Kilberg, and you know this, and everyone knows this, but imagine being Aurora, where you are in 3 different counties. 4 different counties, excuse me. One county has not received federal funding. Kendall, I believe. So they've got to prorate everything based on the county they're in, et cetera. We are, for all practical purposes, Batavia, Elburn, and some others are lucky that we're all in one county. It makes the ask easier, and I think it makes the, yes, we're happy to help you easier.
And I would say that the ask by all the cities, we're all using the same format. We're all using the same formulas. We all shared the same information to ensure that we are all being consistent. And this is just the numbers through June 5th.
Right. If the material we're presenting to the county will be numbers from March 15 through June 15, through today. So it'll be a substantial request. Alderman Kilberg, the floor is yours.
Is that totally at the discretion of the Kane County Board then? Because what if they come up with $97 million worth of expenditures as it relates to COVID? What recourse might we have? I guess that's a $64,000 question.
That's the $2.9 million question, exactly. The reality is, in their original presentation before the county board, a slideshow was presented that stated unequivocally, and you may have seen this, I think I alerted all of you to the Zoom meeting, that the county feels that they are not, quote, required to make any grant payments to any municipalities within their jurisdiction. We respectfully disagreed and continue to disagree, and that's why we have received numerous phone calls, emails, and other messages from county board members literally asking us, you guys create the plan, you present the plan, and then we'll determine if this is a way to go. I'm confident that we will see the support in that regard, particularly through the IGA mechanism, so that our friends at the county, Mr. Hunt and others, aren't nervous about how are they going to audit how municipalities are investing or spending these monies. Yeah. It's a great question, Dean. You're right. It's gone 180 degrees, no question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you very much. Folks, item 5, amendments to the agenda. I believe Alderman Maladra has an amendment to offer.
I do. We need to amend the agenda for item 11, municipal bills for payment. The May 18th, 2020 accounts payable figures should read $3,758,288.65.
It does read that.
Well, you have an updated agenda.
I have enough to.
I corrected it.
Unbelievable. And I was going to call you out. A second on that amendment, ladies and gentlemen? Seconded by Alderman Fancy Mask. Alderman Clements.
That whole side. Very stylish. Sorry.
We have a motion, we have a second, a roll call vote will be required to amend the agenda as recommended and seconded. Madam Recording Secretary, please take the roll.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Caven?
Aye.
Hilberg?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Berghardt?
Aye.
Motion carries 10-0.
Tonight's agenda has been amended accordingly. Item 6, ladies and gentlemen, the omnibus agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered to be routine and can be considered and acted upon with one motion. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Alderman Swanson makes the motion. Is there a second?
Bruno, second.
Alderman Ruby gets in because of the delay for the FCC reasons, because Berghardt is on the screen. Questions or comments? None? Madam Recording Secretary, please take the roll.
Ruby?
Aye.
Caven?
Aye.
Hilberg?
Aye.
Maladra? Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Berghardt?
Aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Item 6, the omnibus agenda passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item number 10, folks, other items and correspondence. Item 10A is to recommend acceptance of the fiscal year 2019-2020 fourth quarter goals status report as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion
By
by
Bruno.
Alderman Bruno, seconded by? Sure. Alderman Swanson. Questions or comments regarding item 10A? Seeing none, I don't believe. Hearing none? Sensing none. Madam Recording Secretary, please take the
Caven?
roll.
Aye.
Hilberg?
Aye.
Maladra? Marks? Marks?
Aye. Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Berghardt?
Aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Item 10A passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 10B is to recommend fiscal year 2020 and 2021 appointment of city officials. You have that list in your packet. Is there a motion to so appoint? Alderman Ruby makes the motion. Second. Alderman Clemmons makes the second. Any questions, any comments from anyone joining us remotely? Anyone present physically? Any comments from the public?
No comments from me.
Madam Recording Secretary, please take the roll.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra. Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Burghart,
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven.
Aye.
Item 10B passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 11, folks, municipal bills for payment. Wowzer. Alderman Bruno, I'm going to trust you're going to read all 4 of these things, right? Is there, or do you want me to?
Right. Here. Spelled out. You're on mute, Alderman Bruno?
Give me, I gotta find it in the agenda here. Bills for payment.
Or I can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you should read it. Oh, I got it.
You got it?
You can read all 4.
And you can read all 4, sir, at once, and we'll,
We need a motion.
but we need a motion too. So is there a motion to pay the bills as presented?
Mayor, I move that we approve and pay the bills. Oh, wait. Okay, so moved.
So much drama. It's like, and Swanson made the motion as a second out of pure exasperation. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions regarding the bills to be paid?
The detail is submitted in the
Yes.
packet.
As presented in our packets, as available online, and as amended, of course, courtesy of Alderman Maladra. Madam Recording Secretary, all yours.
Just take the roll.
Take the roll, please. On all 4 items, folks, May 4th, May 18th, June 1st, and June 15th.
Maladra. Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Burghart,
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg.
Aye.
Item 11 has passed with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 12 are committee of the whole items of business. There are none. Item 13, presentation of ordinances, resolutions, petitions, and bids. Item 13A, consider approval of ordinance number 2020-15, ratifying actions taken during local disaster emergency. I'd like to ask our city administrator to present a brief summary.
Motion first.
Oh, forgive me, is there a motion?
So moved by
Alderman
Bruno.
Ruby, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman McGowan. Thank you.
On April 20th, 2020, the mayor issued a declaration of local state of emergency with respect to COVID-19 as contemplated by ordinance number 2020-11. Since issuing the declaration of local state of emergency, the mayor determined it was reasonably necessary for him to exercise the authority of the corporate authorities with respect to the matters, collectively emergency matters, as listed in the ordinance in your packet 2020-15. In passing this ordinance, the corporate authorities affirm and ratify in all respects the actions taken by the mayor during the local disaster emergency.
Are there any questions from any member of the council with respect to those actions taken? Hearing none, seeing none. Stephanie, whenever you're ready, on item 13A.
Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Burkhart,
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra.
Aye.
Item 13A passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13B, folks, is to consider resolution number 2020-34, authorizing submittal to the state of Illinois a rebuild program grant application. This was discussed earlier this evening, of course. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Maladra, seconded by Alderman Caven. Ms. Dawkins?
Kathleen gave quite a good lengthy, or not lengthy, comprehensive presentation regarding this grant application. So in passing the resolution, the city council is agreeing to provide a local match through a future issuance of GO bonds should the grant be awarded. It should be noted, though, that even if the grant is awarded, if the city no longer desires to move forward with the project, the grant money may be returned with no further obligation. So really what the action tonight is to authorize us to submit the grant. Within that resolution, it does say that you're committing city funds, but that's only if you get the grant and accept the grant.
Any questions or comments for the city administrator? Any public comments?
I will double check, but so far, no. Nope.
Madam Recording Secretary, whenever you're ready, please take the roll.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Burkhart,
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra,
Aye.
Marks.
Aye.
Item 13B passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13C is to consider ordinance number 2020-16, amending Title 4, Chapter 2, Liquor Control, Section 4-2-13, License Fees and Number, adding one Class B3 liquor license for Oberweis That Burger Joint, Wood Grain, located at 2100 South Randall Road, subject to background checks. Is there a motion?
So moved by Bruno.
Moved by Bruno. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Clemens. Ms. Dawkins.
Okay. So I'm going to actually summarize both items C and D, and then you can make a motion for D next.
Okay.
They both involve liquor licensing, so to make things easier. The first request is to add a Class B3 liquor license, which authorizes the retail sale of alcoholic liquors for consumption on the premises only. Oberweis Dairy, That Burger Joint, Wood Grain Pizza, has submitted an application for a Class B3 liquor license. The license will not be issued until an occupancy permit is issued and all background investigations have been satisfactorily completed. The second request that you will be considering this evening is for the addition of two Class A5 liquor licenses, which authorize the retail sale for consumption off premises. Applications have been received and reviewed for Aurelio's Pizza and Eagle Brook Country Club. These are in addition to the licenses that they already have for other purposes.
Any questions or comments? I have one, and forgive me if I didn't pick up on this earlier during Rita's presentation. The fees associated with this are also
No, these
Okay, got
are
that?
new
are
licenses.
new licenses, therefore these fees are not being waived.
Correct.
Everyone understands that? Okay. And the applicants, of course. So on item 13C, Stephanie, if you could take the roll?
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno,
Bruno, aye.
Burkhart,
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Item 13C passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13D, as in David, consider ordinance number 2020-17, amending Title 4, Chapter 2, Liquor Control, Section 4-2-13, License Fees and Number, adding two Class A5 liquor licenses for Aurelio's Pizza at 330 West State and Eagle Brook Country Club at 2288 Fargo Boulevard. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman
By
Caven, seconded by Burkhart. Summary's been provided on item D, unless there's any clarification required. Alderman Burkhart?
I do have a question. So I'm assuming the one for Aurelio's, they must be running the concessions at Eagle Brook Country Club. This second one, is that so they can sell liquor that people could take out of the restaurant? Is this similar to
Yeah.
the one Niche got a couple
Correct.
months back?
So the A5 for both Eagle Brook and for Aurelio's is for retail sale for consumption off premise only. So that would allow them to sell either a bottle of whiskey, a case of beer, a bottle of wine that they would then remove from the premise and drink, hopefully in the comfort of their own home and not at a public park or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And for historical purposes, perhaps Alderman Kilberg can respond to this. There was only one such license like this in the community for decades and decades and decades. Who owned that license?
Well, that would have been, good question.
Little owl?
Very good, Alderman Caven.
Oh, wow, okay. Carry out, yeah.
Mayor owes you a drink.
I owe you something. On item D, Madam Recording Secretary?
Bruno,
Aye.
Burkhart,
Very good, Gabe.
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby, Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Item 13D passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13E is to consider ordinance number 2020-18, waiving renewal fees for license holders, for current license holders, good Lord, for the period of May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021. We saw earlier this evening there was an approximate, some might see it as a, quote, hit to the community. I think all of us would agree that this is an investment in those who have the license. And with that, I'd entertain a motion. Motion by
So
Alderman
moved.
Ruby, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Maladra. Any questions, any summary you'd like to provide
I
other
mean, I
than what
think
we've
Rita
heard?
covered most of it. Again, this would be for just renewal licenses, but it's not just liquor license, it would be any business license.
Exactly.
For this fiscal year, May 1 to April 30th. Anybody who has already submitted their fee, this ordinance would authorize me to provide a refund to those individuals. The thought process behind renewals only and not new licenses is if, quite frankly, we feel like if they're coming in to start a new business or start something new, they recognize the expenditures that are required there. This is really for those businesses that have been impacted directly by the stay-at-home orders. So, and as the mayor said, it's a reduction in revenue. It's not necessarily a loss in revenue, but it's revenue that will not be realized.
Alderman Swanson.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the idea is fantastic to help out our local businesses. My question would be, of the couple 100,000 that it represents, how much of that is liquor licenses?
The majority.
Which, yeah.
So we are in fact helping one aspect of the business community predominantly.
Yeah, because we do not license all businesses. We only license certain businesses.
Understood.
And those fees are significantly smaller than those for the liquor licenses.
And my follow-up question would be, what, if anything, can we do to help out the other businesses that may not necessarily require a liquor license?
Well, and that is what item number 2 is about.
Yeah.
That you're considering this evening.
Okay. That would be the municipal tax on utilities.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions or comments? This is item 13E. As in, everybody gets a first round on Caven. Item 13E. Madam Recording Secretary.
Burkhart,
Aye.
Clements,
Aye.
Ruby, Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno.
Aye.
Item 13E passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13F is to consider ordinance number 2020-19, temporarily suspending the municipal utility tax on water in the city of Geneva effective July 1 through December 14th, 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Swanson, seconded by Alderman McGowan. Anything else we should add,
Yeah,
Stephanie?
so, to Alderman Swanson's point, this would apply to all water utility customers, whether they are residential, commercial, or industrial. We gave you kind of what the savings would be to a residential, just because we have, I think, far more residentials, but obviously for businesses, that savings is gonna be much greater. It's very difficult to give you kind of an average, because we don't have an average business or industrial user. And again, it's just the water municipal utility tax. The reason being that is, quite frankly, the best one to administer and to be able to put it right on the bill, so we don't have to do any kind of refunds, payments, and all of that. It just, we can make it happen. The proposal is to begin July 15th
Oh, 50, excuse me.
through December 14th. That way it covers all, we have 4 billing cycles. It covers all billing cycles equally. So everybody has the same period that it's covered under. So technically, if you wanted to adjust those dates, it would just always have to be from the 15th of a month to the 14th of a month.
Got it.
And again, this one is an unrealized
Unrealized
revenue of approximately 150,000. Again, that's very approximate because bills are based on consumption. We're just kind of using averages, and that's what we anticipate it to be, but it could be more, it could be less. It depends on how much water everybody uses. And if you're like me, you've been using a heck of a lot more water. Even though I come to work every day, I'm still pretty much eating every meal at home, and it seems like for a person who used to run her dishwasher once a week just to make sure it was working, I'm now running it every other day. So,
Any additional thoughts, comments, questions?
Question here.
Yes, Alderman Kilberg, then Burkhart.
Actually, the cost of suspending our electric tax would be about a third of what the water is. Was there any consideration to suspending both of those?
so the electric utility tax is based on a more difficult formula. And so it makes it very hard to actually calculate that within our system and make it easier to administer. So it's something that could be considered, but quite frankly, we felt that the administrative nightmare of trying to work it within the billing system outweighed really the return on investment.
But so when a resident receives its utility bill, then that's going to be a zero, right? For water tax, is that going to be zeroed here for the balance of the year, or starting in July?
From July 15th through December 14th, that will be
Right.
zero.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Alderman Burkhart.
Yeah, my question would be, will there be any notation in the bill to note this, or just the zero? I'm sure in our, the next newsletter, the city could
Yep.
mention this. It's just good to
So-
know, good for residents to know we are trying to help where we can, so.
Ironically enough, timing is always everything, and we have a newsletter coming out the first week of July. So the timing will be perfect to certainly have a newsletter article. We also have the ability to print messages on the utility bill themselves, so people who still get a paper utility bill can see that message. So we will certainly be putting this everywhere so everyone is well aware.
Very good. That is if it passes, Stephanie, right? So,
Anyone else?
thank you.
Thank you. Madam Recording Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Clemens,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Caven,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Maladra,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
McGowan,
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Burghardt.
Aye.
Item 13F passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13G is to consider ordinance number 2020-20, authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by Alderman McGowan. No, owned by the City Fire Department, which is fire engine number 209, which is approximately 212 years old. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Alderman Kilberg, thank you, sir.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Bruno.
So you may recall, way back when, in November, we had a discussion about the possibility of donating our surplus fire truck to the College of DuPage. That is where we send our paid-on-calls to go through fire training, and it's nice for them to actually have a real vehicle to kind of practice driving and using. So this engine, we're asking it to be declared surplus. It was replaced in January with a new engine, and it has served our community for 30 years. So might as well get a second life, right?
So it was drawn by horses?
Almost, close.
Chuck Lencioni was at the lead. No additional
Will there
comment?
be any,
Yes, sir.
Will there be any indication on the vehicle that it was donated by the city of Geneva? Are they going to repaint it?
I don't know
Or
if they're
is-
going to repaint it, but we can certainly make sure that is known. And again, we will make sure there's some kind of identifier.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, roll call, please.
Ruby? Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra? Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Bergerhart?
Aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Motion 13G, or excuse me, item 13G passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13H is to consider resolution number 2020-35, awarding bid and contract to Lewis Tree Service in the amount of $360,000 for the fiscal year 21 and 22 tree trimming contract. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Marks, seconded by? Seconded by Alderman
Second.
Ruby. Ms. Dawkins.
Okay, so the electric division has a goal to trim trees growing underneath and around the overhead utility lines on a regular basis to increase the system's reliability. There were 3 bids that were received for the 2-year tree trimming contract. Lewis Tree Service was the low bidder and had no exceptions to the contract. The budget for tree trimming in the electric division is $180,000 per year.
Any questions or comments regarding this bid? And the requisite acceptance thereto? Roll call, please.
Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Berghardt?
Aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby?
Item 13H passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13I is to consider resolution number 2020-36, authorizing the execution of a license agreement with Level 3 Communications, LLC, for installation of facilities in the city right-of-way. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Alderman,
Second.
was that Alderman Marks or Kilberg?
Yes. it was
Alderman
Marks.
Marks. Is there a second? Alderman
Second.
Clemens. Ms. Dawkins.
Okay, so Public Works was contacted by Level 3 Communications LLC, a private fiber optic network provider, desiring to install fiber optic cable within the city right-of-way to serve two of their clients. For your consideration this evening is the license agreement negotiated with Level 3 that limits their rights to install their fiber specifically as identified within the right-of-way applications.
Questions or comments for the city administrator?
I had a question. Is the city one of their clients?
No, we have our own fiber.
Okay, I just, looking at where the designations are, where they're looking for access to the right of ways, it looked like it would involve public works and police and city hall, but
I think it's just the route that we're requiring them
Right.
to take.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Berghardt?
Aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby? Caven?
Aye.
Item 13I passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13J, folks, consider acceptance of certificate of completion for Greenhouse Point of Geneva. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bruno makes the motion, seconded by, believe, McGowan. Questions or comments? After, of course, a brief summary by City Administrator Dawkins.
So this certificate of completion is for the public water main, sanitary sewer mains, storm sewers, electric improvements, mass earthwork, and erosion control improvements to accommodate the construction of the Greenhouse Point subdivision. With this certificate of completion, the corresponding letter of credit may be reduced to a 10% amount to serve as a 1-year warranty on the reference completed improvements. The COC does exclude the roadway, sidewalk, and right-of-way improvements.
questions or comments regarding this matter? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Burkhart?
Aye.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Item 13J passes with 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 absent. Item 13K, consider resolution number 2020-37, adopting IDOT forms BLR 14220 and BLR 14222 for use of funds for maintenance of streets and highways. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kilberg, I believe it was?
Yes.
Seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Ruby. Ms. Dawkins.
Okay, so these are the annual IDOT forms that we ask you to consider every year to utilize motor fuel tax funds for routine annual street maintenance operations. So in other words, we get the motor fuel tax dollars that have to be used somehow related to streets, so we can use it for snow plowing operations and those types of events. But in order to do so, we must have a resolution on file with IDOT.
Any questions or comments, folks? Roll call, please.
Alderman Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Burkhart? Burkhart, you're muted.
She's frozen.
She's frozen.
Frozen.
Okay. Ruby?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, Clements?
Aye.
Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
So we have 9.
Want to try Tara again?
I think she's trying to reconnect, so.
9 affirmative votes, 1 absent, an abstention, excuse me.
Pardon the technical difficulties.
Our last item, ladies and gentlemen, item 13L. Consider resolution number 2020-38, authorizing the Assistant City Administrator, Director of Administrative Services, this is Mr. McCready, to serve as the authorized agent to the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ruby makes the motion, Bruno makes the second. Ms. Dawkins, a summary, please.
Sure, as it sounds, this is really housekeeping in nature due to a recent vacancy. We need to designate a new authorized agent. IMRF only allows 1 authorized agent. So before you this evening would authorize Assistant City Administrator, Director of Administrative Services, Benjamin McCready as the authorized agent. And IMRF is the retirement fund that all but public safety employees are members of.
Questions or comments, folks? Roll call, please.
Sorry, just making sure no more public comment. McGowan?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Bruno?
Aye.
Burkhart? I think Burkhart has not reconnected.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Clements?
Aye.
Ruby? Aye. Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
9 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, 1 abstention. This item passes. Before we entertain a motion to adjourn, forgive me for my statements earlier tonight. I forgot to also acknowledge with warm heart and true intent the participation and cooperation of our business owners and our citizens. This has been a long slog. I think all of us would agree that this is not yet over. We are where we are because of the cooperation of all of us, and I hope that we can continue to cooperate so that on the 26th of June, we enter phase 4, and there on out, we continue to improve so that we can return to whatever we define as normal. So my apologies for that delay. A motion to, yes, you have something?
I also just want to say, assuming that we move into phase 4 on June 26th, then we would go back to our regular meeting schedules, which would be a city council meeting followed by a committee of the whole meeting on the 1st and 3rd Monday, reserving the 2nd and 4th Mondays for special items. And right now, it's anticipated on July 13th that we would have a special city council meeting to consider the Lewis Road issue. So I just want to make sure, but that is all contingent upon moving to phase 4, which will allow gatherings of greater than 10 and up to 50.
Any, Alderman Bruno?
Thank you, Mayor. So where do we stand at present with meetings such as the committees and commissions that would have a public audience? Do they have a similar solution that we had here?
Yes. That we have asked all city board and commissions not to meet until after we had met this evening. So they are now able to meet prior to June 26th. Obviously, we are encouraging them to wait until July if they can, but if not, then they will have a similar setup to this. They can have up to 10 people present, provide online access for public comment, or obviously keep 1 or 2 slots, as I call them, vacant to allow public to attend.
Thank you very much.
With that, folks, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Alderman Swanson makes that motion. We need a roll call vote to adjourn under the new guidelines offered by the state of Illinois. So, Madam Recording Secretary?
Swanson? Aye. Bruno?
Aye.
Burkhart? Clements?
Aye.
Ruby? Aye. Caven?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Maladra?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
McGowan?
Aye.
We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much.
Good night.
Good night.